Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. How are you? A few days ago, the Chief Justice, the learned Chief Justice, issued a strong rebuke about politicians making comments on court cases without understanding the judgment of the case. She said that if you don't know, then you have to ask. Don't use sentiments, use facts. I think it's a good advice because in life, not just in law, if you don't know, you have to ask. But the one thing that I'm concerned about, the statement is like as if that if you are not a lawyer, a well-trained mind, or if you don't have the intellectual depth of judges, then you should not make comments. If that is the meaning of that warning, then I'm very concerned because ordinary people like you and me, we are free to make comments so long as we are respectful of the subject and of the cause and of the judges. And if we do so in good faith, we should not be afraid to make comments. You know, some 90 years ago, one of the great British judges, Lord Atkin, he said that justice is not a cloistered virtue. It must be open to scrutiny, to comments, even vigorous comments, he said, by ordinary people. And that is a principle adopted all over the world. So the first point I want to make today is that that principle still stands. We must not be afraid to make comments about court cases, just because we don't understand the law 100%. Anyway, even lawyers, some lawyers like me, we are all very average people, you know. I remember Dr. Mahathir once described me as a very average Malay lawyer. So we don't have that kind of intellectual depth or the knowledge of the law as judges have, of course. But when people ask me of my views about the case, of course I give my views within the bounds of the law and with all in honesty, you know. I may be wrong in my understanding of it. Sometimes we know what the judgment was all about, but we don't agree. So sometimes you make comments on why you disagree. Okay, anyway, the other thing I want to say today is this, that we have to believe that every institution in this country, they have to be open, accessible to the people, you know. This is democracy. This is the country that values democracy and rule of law. Even the courts will benefit from an open, frank discourse about justice, surely. If we do not allow this to happen, then you never know what will happen. If we expect accountability from the politicians, from the executive, if we abhor the tyranny of the politicians, equally we should find it reprehensible, the tyranny of the learned people in the judiciary. The whole institutions of government must be accessible, and we must not be afraid of them. The citizen must not be afraid of them. This is what I want to say. You see, in the contestation for justice, different views are offered every day. The victor has his own view, and the vanquished has his own views, and suffering, of course. But whatever it is, in this discourse, there has to be some humility. There has to be some understanding of each other's position. If we don't have that, if we don't have tolerance, understanding, and little humility, then dignity will be thrown out of the window. How do we benefit from that? So, my parting message this morning is this. We're all humans. Of course, judges are special, but they're not so special as to be immune from the errors and failings of normal human beings. So, speak up. Talk about things that you think important, not just for you, but for the country. You have to do that. You owe that to the people of this country. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.